Yeah, hello guys, this is Navdeep here, and in this lecture, I will be teaching you about the Sufism in India, which is a part of your medieval history. Okay, so I have taken all the material required from your 8th and ninth class NCRTs. Okay, so what we know about the Sufism, we know that in 15th and 16th century, India was undergoing several types of socio-religious changes. Okay, India was undergoing several types of socio-religious changes, and it depended from religion to religion. Like in Hinduism, we had Bhakti movement. Okay, so Bhakti movement also flourished during the same time in the 15th and the 16th century. And what were the aims of the Bhakti movement? It was mostly to revive the Hinduism, to reform the Hinduism. Why they needed to reform? Because in Hinduism there were many evils that were prevalent at that time. What were the evils? Okay, this is the big question. What evils they were trying to reform? The evils included the caste system. Okay, and some practices, religious practices that were not needed at that time and were not useful for the common masses. They were just supporting a particular sect of people. I will describe a bit about it. Okay. So first of all, we should know what about the caste system. Why they needed to reform Hinduism and how it was linked to the caste system. You should know that from the ancient Indian times, Hindus were divided themselves into Varna systems. The top Varna systems were Brahmins, then Kshatriyas, and the bottom two were Vaishyas and the Shudras. The top two mostly belonged to a ruling class. They enjoyed certain privileges which the bottom two didn't. That means Shudra and Vaishyas were not giving some privileges which were given to Brahmins and the Kshatriyas who were also the ruling class. And how was this impacting the Hinduism? Because we see when Buddhism and Jainism came into being, lot of these lower to strata or lower to caste people who belonged to Shudras are the Vaishya sect caste. They converted themselves and they adopted a new religion called Brahmanism and Jainism. This was seen as a threat by the Hindus. So it was mostly that they needed to protect themselves. Hindus needed to protect themselves, and the first step to do the same was to get the reforms in their religion. And first part of these reforms was to get away with these reform movements, with this caste system. Okay, so they wanted to get away with this caste system through various reforms. So what was the first step that the Hinduism under the Bhakti saints do? And this message was taken away by Bhakti saints. We have Alavars and Narayanas in the South India, particularly the Tamil Nadu region, who wanted to reform Hinduism and they gave a new dimension to what we call achieving the salvation. Okay, so how they did it? That means they turned the wheel. Okay, they told them everyone that it doesn't depend upon the caste that you are born on. Everyone is entitled for the salvation. Salvation, if you remember from the Buddhism and Jainism, also means moksha or nirvana. Or in short, I can tell you, it means mukti. Mukti has been defined as getting rid of the cycle of death and born. विच मीन्स कि जो जीवन मरण का खेल है इससे मुक्ति मिल जाएगी अगर कोई मोक्ष प्राप्त कर ले. So Bhakti saints through their system of reforms highlighted some ways, that means singing praises of God, okay, getting themselves reading Vedas, teaching people to love themselves, brotherhood, maintain brotherhood, and God is everywhere. You know, don't need special temples to worship the God. God is present everywhere. He is omnipresent. Same thing was happening in the Islam. Islam was also undergoing certain reforms, and Sufism was one of the reforms that it was undergoing. So what were these reforms? We will just read about it, what the Sufism means and what the message it gives. We will see now. Okay. So first of all, what is Sufism? So Sufism or Tasawwuf was a mystical movement in the Islam. Okay. It aimed at establishing direct communication between God and the man. Okay, so the correct relation why these reforms were happening was to establish a direct relation between the man and the God. It was mainly to say that there is no intermediary. You don't require priests. You can directly get yourself connected with the God. God is omnipresent. Okay. It is said that the Sufis were accepted the Shariat. Shariat means Islamic laws. So when they propagated the Sufism, the mystic sense of the Islam, they accepted the Shariat. Shariat, as you guys know, is the means the Islamic laws. Okay, and later we see that these Sufis establish a number of silsilas. Okay, so the number of types that they have in which they preach how to attain the God, how to reach the God, the number of ways these Sufi saints say, it has been divided into several silsilas. Silsilas means the school. Like you are going to a school. Okay, there are number of ways, a number of routes through which you can go to your school or college. Okay. Similarly, the Sufi has several silsilas. That means several ways through which you can attain the God. You can reach the God. You can achieve that salvation and moksha that I spoke out few minutes back. Okay. So what happens in Sufism? Sufism stresses on love and devotion as an effective method to realize the God. It says that if you want to achieve what we call as salvation, if you want that God should accept your prayers, you should adopt two things. What is that? Love and devotion. Love with every whole humanity and devotion to what you do. Okay, same goes for us who love their path, we love our aim, and we undergo several devotion. We do everything we have to do with our devotion, then only we can achieve our aim. So love and devotion are the two ways by which one can achieve a God. Okay, so originally if we see that in Islam there was no way or there was no place of the salvation. They were not the original Islam didn't give a correct, we can say that a unique dimension, a multi-dimension approach to achieve the salvation. It gave a strict way. But when we talk about the Sufism, the reform, it gave the multiple dimensions. One of the dimension I told you was love and devotion. Then we see the Sufism concept when it takes various forms, then these ways are also added by certain other parts. Okay, so according to Sufis, one must have a guidance of a peer or guru. So the concept of peer or guru comes from the Sufism. Okay, we all, if we want to achieve something, we should have a peer or guru. Guru means a teacher. Okay, and if you don't have any peer or guru, you can't complete this spiritual journey. The spiritual journey towards a God can't be completed unless you have a God, you have a peer or guru. Whereas Orthodox Islam didn't allow free way, we can say, to the other religions, the Sufism reformed itself and it paved the ways of religious tolerance towards the other religions. ओके, सो अगर मैं आपको हिंदी में ऐसा बताऊं तो आई कैन एक्सप्लेन इट इन फ्यू लाइंस कि सूफीज्म इस्लाम को रिफॉर्म कर रहा था. कैसे कर रहा था? इट सेज कि खुदा या अल्लाह तक अपनी डिवोशन पहुंचाने के दो रास्ते हैं. वन इज प्यार, भाईचारा, सबके साथ प्यार फैलाना, और दूसरी जो बात है इट इज डिवोशन. जो आप करते हैं उसको प्यार से करें, पूरी लगन के साथ करें. ओके, ऑर्थोडॉक्स इस्लाम में अगर हम देखते हैं तो एक स्ट्रिक्ट वे था टू अचीव दिस साल्वेशन, मोक्ष. लेकिन सूफीज्म आपको मल्टी डायमेंशंस देता है. उसके बाद मैंने आपसे एक और बात की कि सूफीज्म बात करता है कि अगर आपको ये साल्वेशन पानी है तो यू नीड ए पीर और गुरु. ओके, जो आपको हेल्प करेगा साल्वेशन पाने में, विदाउट विच द स्पिरिचुअल डिवोशन इज यूजलेस. सूफीज्म के और भी कुछ आइडियाज हैं, जैसे मेडिटेशन. जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा, लव और डिवोशन के साथ और चीजें जुड़ती जाएंगी। उनमें से एक पहली थी मेडिटेशन, गुड एक्शंस। मेडिटेशन मीन्स ध्यान लगाना, यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट द गॉड, ओके, यू हैव टू जस्ट मेडिटेट, अपना आप पूरा गॉड की तरफ समर्पित करना है, एंड विद कामनेस। देन गुड एक्शंस, आपने अच्छे कर्म करने हैं। थर्ड इज रेपिटेंसेस फॉर सिंस, विच मीन्स कि आपको अपने जो गुनाह है, इफ यू हैव डन एनीथिंग रॉन्ग, you have to ask for the sins from the God, and you have to perform prayers, pilgrimages. You have to also do fasting, charity to achieve the same. Okay, so this was some of the basic tenets of Sufism. तो अब सूफीज्म से इस्लाम में रिफॉर्म कैसे आ सकते थे? इट वाज रियली कि वो चेंज कर रहे थे वैल्यूज को, रिचुअल प्रैक्टिसेस को, डॉक्ट्राइन्स को और इंस्टीट्यूशन, इन चीजों में वो रिफॉर्म्स ला रहे थे। और जो बंदे सूफीज्म को प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, सूफीज्म को, दे आर कॉल्ड एज सूफीज। जैसे मैंने कहा, एक गोल तक पहुंचने के लिए, गोल इज सैल्वेशन और गोल इज गॉड, इस तक पहुंचने के कई रास्ते होते हैं। तो ऐसे ही सूफीज्म के भी डिफरेंट वेज हैं थ्रू विच दे अटेम्प्ट टू रीच द गॉड। सो ईच ऑफ दीज वेज इज कॉल्ड तुर्क और ऑर्डर्स, ओके। एंड ये तुर्क्स एंड ऑर्डर्स किन तक जाते हैं? सिंस दिस पीर एंड गुरु पे प्ले एन इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है, जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा था, तो ये हर एक डिफरेंट जो वेज है, ये ऑर्डर्स हैं, ये इन पीर और गुरु तक पहुंचते हैं। हाउ दे टोल्ड, इन्होंने कैसे बताया कि हाउ यू कैन अचीव द बेसिक गोल। तो हर पीर ने एक अलग तरीके से कहा, इनका आगे एक डिफरेंट तुर्क या ऑर्डर बनता गया, ओके। सो but ultimately these all reach to Prophet Muhammad. These all reach to the teachings of Prophet. Okay. तो ये जो जहां पर ये स्पिरिचुअल सेशंस जो ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं, दे आर कॉल्ड मजालिस, ओके। एंड ये मजालिस कहाँ पर होते हैं? दीज द प्लेसेस जहां पर ये स्पिरिचुअल सेशंस होते हैं सूफीज के, जिसे मजालिस कहा जाता है, ये जिस जगह पे होते हैं उसे जवालिस, खानका या टेके कहा जाता है। And what they strive? They strive for ihsan. Ihsan means perfect worship. ये एहसान का कंसेप्ट, अकॉर्डिंग टू देम, दिस जो एहसान का कंसेप्ट है, दे ब्रिंग इट फ्रॉम ए हदीथ, ओके। सो अकॉर्डिंग टू देम, दे रिगार्ड प्रॉफिट मुहम्मद एज अल इंसान अल कमीन, दैट द मैन हु इज परफेक्ट, who has a perfect knowledge, who is a leader and a spiritual guide. So this Sufi orders, different Sufi orders, जिसे तुर्क या तरीका कहा जाता था, they all start from the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so इनके जो रास्ता बनता है, that is Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is the person through which they trace the origin. लेकिन goal is to reach till Al-Ihsan Al-Kamil, that is Prophet Muhammad. But the way is through Ali ibn Abi Talib. Except एक, that is the Naqshbandi, they trace it through Abu Bakr. ये चीज याद रखिएगा, okay. So Sufis, both in pre-modern and modern times, okay, they were mostly belonging to the Sunni Islam, okay. So it is said कि they were restricted to the Sunni sect of Islam. लेकिन but we find later कि ये शिया इस्लाम में भी they found a little bit of scope in that, particularly after conversion of Iran from majority Sunni to Shia country, okay. So तब उसके बाद we see that the Sufism it reaches in the Shia sector, okay. Traditionally it belongs to the Sunni Islam, okay. So now Sufis have been characterized as asceticism. Asceticism means that they have attachment to a thing called dhikr. We will do it in detail. That means a resemblance to God, okay, which they often perform जब वे prayer करते हैं. So they are attached with dhikr. We will discuss what that means. ड्यू टू दिस अटैचमेंट दे आर रिगार्डेड एज एस्टेट्स। ओके, सो इनका जो वी कैन से एक मेजॉरिटी जो इनके एडहेरेंट सपोर्टर्स बने, दैट वाज ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ उमैद खलीफा, ओके, ड्यूरिंग 661 and 750 AD, and they spread to all the many continents and many cultures of the areas, especially you see it spreading to the Arabic, Persian, Turkish, Punjabi, and even Urdu culture. Of these Sufis, through this method, they played an important role in formation of Muslim society through their missionary and educational activities. ये चीज अब याद रखें. Like in Bhakti system, that those saints played an important role in unifying the society. ऐसे ही the same these Sufis, through the societies that they form and their missionary and educational activities, they tried to form an important role. ओके, तो ये था. अगर हम लेट मिडिवल मिस्टिक में देखते हैं, जैसे पर्शियन पोर्ट, जिसे जामी कहा जाता है, ओके, so he was the first person, according to this Jami person, the first person who was a Sufi was Ibn Allah bin Muhammad ibn al-Nafi. So this person, Ibn Allah ibn Muhammad ibn al-Nafiya, was the first person to be called a Sufi. And who says about him? It is the Persian poet Jami who writes about him. Okay, तो अब इम्पोर्टेंट कुछ आपकी राइटिंग्स भी हैं, जैसे वी फाइंड हसन ऑफ बसरा, वी हैव अबू नासर सिराज. ओके, तो ये सब कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट बुक्स है. There are two generations of Sufis, one that belong mostly in the Arabic region, and second that came to Baghdad. Okay, it was during the time of the figure called Junaid that the Sufism reached a second generation, and it formed the second generation of wave in Baghdad. Okay, so they mostly get traced. Okay, they mostly get traced because of the various कल्चरल अडॉप्टेशन. जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा, काफ़ी कॉन्टिनेंट्स और काफ़ी ऐसे हमारे कल्चर्स हैं जिनको सूफीज़म जिस सूफीज़म को अडॉप्ट किया है अपने कल्चर के थ्रू वेरियस वेव्स. जैसे मैंने कहा, सेकंड वेव वाज इन बगदाद इन द शेप ऑफ जुनैद. ओके, सो वी विल सी कि जो सूफी ऑर्डर्स हैं, these have also been adopted by various Shil movements, and these Shil movements are called Ismailism. ये इस्लामिज्म ही था. इस्माइलिज्म वाज अ मूवमेंट जिसमें हम देखते हैं जो साफिया ऑर्डर था आपका, जो सुन्नी का था, सुन्नी इस्लाम का एक ऑर्डर था साफिया, इट कन्वर्टेड टू शिया इस्लाम. ओके, इट वाज इन ईरान ओनली. ओके, तो यहां से हम देखते हैं कि जो आपका सूफीज्म है, इट रीचेस द शिया सेक्ट व्हेन, जब साफिया जो ऑर्डर था, इट कन्वर्टेड from Sunni Islam to Shia Islam. So you can remember this word कि is it related to Safiya? तो यहाँ पे आप इसको याद. Okay, there are various orders of Sufi. We have Badawiya, we have Alawiya, we have Bakshi, we have Burhaniya, we have Chisti. This is very important in India. We have Khalwati, Melwaki, Naqshbandi, also important in respect to India. We have Uwaisi, Nimatullah, Qadriya. This also came to India. Sirwai Qadriya, Shahadiliya, Suhrwadiya also came to India. Suhrwadiya, these also came in the movement. The 1857 के बाद में इनका रोल काफ़ी है in the Indian movement. I will tell you how. Okay, Zinda Shah. Okay, these all are the various orders of the Sufi, and some even reach the Indian continent. Some Indian subcontinent में कुछ आके भी popular हो जाते. So in 11th century, Sufism, it has been previously, which has been less we can say codified, यानी इसके बारे में ज़्यादा नहीं लिखा गया था. तो what we see कि 11th century AD के बाद it becomes ordered and crystallized. Okay, it becomes ordered and crystallized, and we see these orders जो थे इन्हें कौन बनाते हैं? various Islamic scholars इन्हें बनाते हैं. जैसे सुहरावर्दी जो थे, इसे अबू अल नजीब सुहरावर्दी बनाते हैं. ऐसी आपका जो किदरिया है, उसे अब्दुल कादर गिलानी कहते हैं. सो कहीं ना कहीं इनके नाम से ये नाम दिए गए. जैसे रिफिया था, इट इज़ अहमद अल रिफाय. चिश्तिया, मोहुद्दीन चिश्ती केम टू इंडिया ऑल्सो. शाहदिलिया वाज अबुल हसन अल शाहदिली. ओके, ऐसी हमदानिया है, जैसे सईद अली हमदानी. नक्शबंदी आफ्टर बहालुद्दीन नक्शबंदी बुखारी. So So these are the various sects and इनके जो फॉर्मर्स है जो 11th सेंचुरी के बाद जो इनको फॉर्मर शेप देते हैं अपने अपने ऑर्डर को. Okay. So now we will go towards the end of the first millennium. A number of manuals began to be written summarizing the doctrines of Sufis. अब एक बार जब इनको ऑर्डर बन गया, now बात होनी थी कि कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट की. 10 वेरियस मैन्यूल्स हुए रिटन. सो इन मैन्यूल्स में लिखा क्या था कि कैसे आप एक सूफी प्रैक्टिस कर सकते. दो इंपॉर्टेंट जो मैन्यूल्स थी ऐसे, द फर्स्ट वन वाज द कश्फ अल महजूब जो अली हुजैरी ने लिखी थी, एंड द सीला जो कि अल कुशौरी ने लिखी. So these were the two books that gave the codified of how Sufism will be practiced. Okay, इसी के साथ we have certain other books. Okay, we have Ghazali's work also, Revival of Religious Sciences. Okay, and Kimia al-Sadat में उससे लिखते हैं. Okay, so these are all the things through which they spread their message. ये सब वो books जस्ट रिवाइव होता है आपका. रिवाइवल ऑफ रिलीजियस साइंसेस भी टेक प्लेस करती है. दैट वाज अंडर सूफीज्म. ओके, द राइज ऑफ इस्लामिक सिविलाइजेशन कहीं ना कहीं कोइंसाइड करता है स्प्रेड ऑफ सूफीज्म के साथ. ओके, और जो स्प्रेड ऑफ इस्लाम है इट हैज बीन लिंक्ड विद द सूफीज. आप अगर सिनूसी ट्राइब देखेंगे लीबिया का एंड सूडान के, दे आर द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट एडहेरेंट्स ऑफ सूफीज. सिनूसी ट्राइब ऑफ लीबिया एंड सूडान ये सूफीज्म के एडहेरेंट माने जाते हैं. वी हैव सूफी पोएट्स एंड फिलोसोफर्स सच एज खोजा अकमत यसरी, रूमी. रूमी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके, अतर ऑफ निशपुर. ओके, they were greatly inspired by the spread of Islamic culture in Central Asia, especially in South Asia. तो आप ये देख सकते हैं कि लीबिया दैट इज अफ्रीका तक इस्लाम पहुंचाने में, इस्लाम को स्प्रेड करने में जिसका रोल है, दिस वाज द सूफीज. ओके, दे इवन प्रोपगेटेड द कल्चर ऑफ ऑटोमन वर्ल्ड. ओके, सो दिस वाज व्हाट दे डिड. अभी भी वी हैव वेरियस सूफी ऑर्डर्स, दैट मींस एलियंस, बख्तिशी ऑर्डर, मिलवेली ऑर्डर, ओके, चिश्ती ऑर्डर, जिरहिया, नक्शबंदी, मुजबंदी. दिस ऑल आर सुरा कादरिया, कलंदरिया, ओके, सुहावर्दिया. These are the Safia. This you will find in India also. Okay, but कहीं ना कहीं it has been seen that they all define the same goal, but their way, जैसे मैंने कहा था, रास्ता अलग अलग. So what are the various aims and objectives of this Sufism? So Sufism, it is a transmission of divine light from the teacher's heart to student's heart. इसलिए यहाँ पे गुरु और पीर का जो होता है महत्व बहुत ज्यादा. ऐसा कहा जाता है कि जो डिवाइन लाइट है वो टीचर से ही ट्रांसफर होती है आपके स्टूडेंट्स तक. ओके, इट्स नॉट थ्रू द वर्ल्डली नॉलेज, इट्स थ्रू द डिवाइन लाइट जैसे कहा. दैट फ्रॉम ए टीचर ए स्टूडेंट विल ऑल्सो नो. ओके, सो अब ये तभी हो सकता है जब एक डिवाइन लॉ जो है टीचर और स्टूडेंट्स दोनों से फॉलो. Okay, Sufis जो है they believe in Sharia, that is the Islamic law. They believe in तरीका, हकीका. Okay, and they say कि ये Sharia, तरीका that is the order and हकीका that is truth these are all mutually independent. Okay, these are mostly independent. You can't mix Sharia with the Sharia, that means Islamic law, with their order, and you can change the truth, which is not possible. Okay, so every person takes different roads to reach a maqam. Maqam is called the goal. Thus, they confess that the God is one. Then comes the concept of Fazlur Rahman in the 18th century came with the concept of New Sufis. Okay, New Sufis means those who believe in the importance of Islamic law to gain inner spirituality and social activities. So जो importance दें Islamic law को, they are called as New Sufism, because originally Sufism said that the Islamic laws, their order and their hakika, that means the truth, they are independent. जब हमने start किया, I told you about the dhikr. So what is the dhikr? Dhikr is the resemblance of Allah command in Quran for all the Muslims. Okay, so dhikr actually क्या mean करता है? That means to practice the conscience. आप अपने कॉन्शियस को प्रैक्टिस करते हैं डिवाइन प्रेजेंस के लिए, प्यार फैलाते हैं ताकि आप ऊपर वाले के या गॉड के करीब जा सके. ओके, अब धिक्कर सेरेमनीज में व्हाट दे डू, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट सूफी ऑर्डर यू आर फॉलोइंग. वी नो दैट दे रिसाइट सिंगिंग लाइक कव्वाली, म्यूजिक, डांस, जिसे सूफी स्विलिंग कहते हैं. आप अगर वो जोधा अकबर मूवी देखेंगे जिसका गाना है खोजा मेरे खोजा, उसमें आप देखेंगे स्विलिंग डांस वो करते हैं, सेंस, मेडिटेशन, ऑल दीज आर दिक्कर्स. दिक्कर्स मीन समथिंग दैट विल टेक यू क्लोज टू द गॉड. जो मेडिटेशन की इनकी प्रैक्टिस है उसे मुराकाबा कहा जाता है. ओके, एंड दिस इज दैट डांस दैट आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट. दिस डांस इज दिस कॉल्ड सूफी विलिंग. इट इज लिंक्ड विद द सूफीज्म एंड दे थिंक दिस इज अ वे दे कैन कनेक्ट टू गॉड. ओके, एंड इसके साथ जो है दिस इज लिंक्ड विद द सुन्नी सूफी ऑर्डर. ओके, द कदरिया, चिश्ती, they just you know they think this Qadriya, this Chishti. Okay, so they think that this is prohibited. Okay, they say this is prohibited, this Qadri and Chishti and other some Sunni Muslims. So according to Sunni Muslims this is prohibited, लेकिन जो Shia sects है they still believe in this. Okay, so now singing. Over the time we have seen that except duff, all the music instruments were forbidden by the Orthodox Sunni Muslim schools. But over the time हम ये देखते हैं कि Sufi saints भी कहते हैं that musical instruments are forbidden. Okay, but what we see कि over the time the instruments have taken place and even we have the female voices. Okay, but उसे देखा जाता है in the common place, though they became orthodox, वो orthodox रहते हैं, लेकिन कुछ जगह they have taken the place. We have the female women singers who sing Sufi songs. Okay, but over the time it has taken various forms. Sufi saint आमिर खुसरो भी थे. He was infused Persian, Arabic, Turkish, Indian classical, सब उनको create करते हैं 13th century. And these Sufi songs are classified into Hamd, Naat, Mukabat, Marsiya and Ghazals among others. Okay, so how growth of Sufism took place? Growth of Sufism took place only against the Turkish rule under the Ghaznavis. We also see that there was a system of madrasa, that is education system, through which this was being spread to the world. Okay, and they have an orthodox Islamic learning called Khanka system. These Khanka systems became the permanent center of Islam, Sufi study. Okay, अब आपकी Sufi poetry भी थी. Okay, there was, we see that the Sufi poetry in Persia narrated poems, Manawis जिसे कहा जाता है. All these terms जो words मैं आपसे कह रहा हूँ, these will be directly asked in your exam. Al-Ghazali was the most outstanding Sufi author. Okay, so ऐसी सूफी मूवमेंट इन इंडिया जो है स्टार्ट होती है अल-हुज़ावरी की ओर से, who is buried in Lahore also. He is the oldest Sufi saint in Indian continent. Okay, and medieval India we see that the Chishtiya, Surawardi, Qadri and Naqshbandi. Okay, and during Delhi Sultanate period we see Surawardis and the Chistis were popular. Surawardis were in Punjab and Sindh, where Chisti जो थे दिल्ली, पंजाब और गंगेटिक प्लान्स में फिर थे. जैसे ही दिल्ली सल्तनत आपका डिक्लाइन होता है, चिश्ती जो होता है वो ईस्टर्न साइड ऑफ द इंडिया यानी बिहार और बंगाल में भी स्प्रेड होना शुरू हो जाता है. ओके, इट हैज बीन सीन ड्यूरिंग द मिडिवल पीरियड सूफी प्लेड एन इम्पोर्टेंट रोल, ओके, इन एलॉबरेटिंग इस्लामिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स and encourage development of practice like ziyarat, that is practices of tomb. So Sufism encourages ziyarat. तो अगर आपसे पूछा जाता है कि ziyarat, that means worshipping tomb या tomb visiting, वो कहाँ से popularize होती है? वो popularize होती है आपके सूफी. Chishti silsila you have, it was established by Mohiuddin Chishti. ओके, जो मोहम्मद गोरी के साथ इन्वेजन के साथ इंडिया मूव करते हैं. आफ्टर हिज डेथ इन 1235 his grave was visited by मोहम्मद तुगलक, और वहाँ पे एक मॉस्क भी वो खड़ा करते हैं. महमूद खलजी और मालवा जो थे वहाँ पे एक डोम भी बनाते हैं. ऐसा देखा जाता है कि अकबर ऑल्सो विजिटेड हिज. Chasti believed in love as the bond between God as the God between God and individuals, and he believed in the tolerance with other faith. And he accepted disciples irrespective of religious faith. इसके कुछ जो इसके disciples they were Hindus and yogis, and he used simple language. Chishti was present in Delhi, okay, and established by Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki, who settled in Delhi from his homeland. Okay, this was the time मंगोल इन्वेजन भी जब हो रहे थे. कुतुबुद्दीन बख्तियार काकी प्रेजेंस, इन्हीं के नाम पे कुतुबुद्दीन बख्तियार काकी के नाम पे कुतुब मीनार रखा जाता है. He was a threat to Surawardi's. Okay, तो अब we see that the Sultan of Delhi Iltutmish dismisses this attempt and forcing Surawardis to relent. Surawardis को इनसे दूर कौन करते हैं? That was Iltutmish. So they laid this Chishti piece. They lead the great emphasis of simplicity of life, poverty, devotion to God. Khoja Mohiuddin Chishti argued that the highest form of devotion was to redress misery of those in distress, fulfilling the needs of the helpless, feed the hungry. So basic simple तरीके उन्होंने बताया. And even refused grants from the sultans. Okay, Nizamuddin Aulia was the best known Chishti saint. Okay. So there are various numerous stories around Nizamuddin Aulia. Okay, he had maintained a strict policy of not involving himself with the various groups or factions of the Delhi Sultanate court. Okay, then we have Nasiruddin Chirag Dehlvi. He was also belonging to a Chishti clan. Chishti saint थे ये थे. He played active political roles. Okay, ये opposite चले अपने निजामुद्दीन औलिया से. Okay, and we have Muhammad Banda Nawaz. These all are the civil Chishti. Then you have Surawardi. Surawardis were found by Shahabuddin Surawardi in Bengal, Baghdad, sorry, established by Bahauddin Zarkia. Okay, so Bahauddin Zarkia was actually critical of Kubachas. Okay, and he ultimately favored the Iltutmish over his rival. आपको दिल्ली सल्तनत में कुबाचा और इल्तुतमिश की जो राइवलरी हो तो आपने पढ़ी होगी. So he was critical of Kubacha, thus he favored Iltutmish. And Bahauddin Zarkia was different from the Chistis. Chistis से थोड़े ही अलग थे. Okay, why? Because according to them, the Sufi should possess three attributes: property, knowledge, and hal or mystical enlightenment. Okay, he more जो आपके Surawardi's थे, they relied more on the combination of ilm, that is scholarship, with mysticism, that is education with mysticism. इन्होंने ही सुरावर्दी ने ही प्रैक्टिस शुरू की, that bowing before the sheikh, presenting water to the visitors. Okay, हेड को नीचे बो करना, इसको चीज ने रिजेक्ट किया था. And we see it was more established towards the Punjab and Sindh. Then we have Naqshbandi. Okay, they were very orthodox compared to the later former two. Okay, and he opposed listening to samaz, that is song, practice of preliminary tomb जो थे जियारत पे जाना उसके भी खिलाफ थे. They don't wanted any interactions with Hindus and Shias. Okay, so he believed that he was a mujahid, who Sheikh Baqi Billah and the followers of the Naqshbandi Silsila, they believed that he was a mujahid, the renewer of the first millennium of Islam. Okay, so he said that the man is a slave of God. There is no love. There can be no love and bloodness between the two. Okay, and he tried to harmonize the teaching of Orthodox Islam. Then we have Qadri Silsila, also favorable in Punjab. Sheikh Abdul Qadir, and his sons supported by supporters of Mughals under Akbar, they formed this silsila. Okay, Mia Mir, okay, वो इसके एक फेमस फॉलोअर थे, मियाँ मीर. Okay, he was the same person who laid the foundation of Golden Temple. Okay, so they dismissed the orthodox thing. They declared कि they declared कि that uh, the orthodox Islam is way back. Okay, way back from the reality. So they were more liberals जैसे कहा जाता. Okay, so that is why there was a constant tension between them and the orthodox. Okay, so this was all about the important silsilas of Islam, their proponents, and इतना ही आपके जो है सूफीज़म में पूछा जाएगा. That is all. So we'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much.